Good morning, and welcome to Storypath on this first Sunday after Easter. I've got my friend Danny here with me today, and Danny and I are going to be sharing with you the book called A Piece of Home by Jeri Watts. Let's hear our story, shall we?
My grandmother was a wise and wonderful teacher. When students bowed, she held her shoulders erect, but her eyes sparkled. Even at home, my grandmother could find the extraordinary held within the ordinary, like how she coaxed her mugugwam shrubs to blossom into tensum flowers, revealing their bright red centers. In Korea, I was ordinary, a regular boy playing and laughing and bossing my little sister Jeri around. I was not extraordinary, not different. I was just me, like so many others. In Korea, my father, who always did the right thing, who always did what was expected, surprised us all. He accepted a position at a law school in West Virginia. Who would expect West Virginia, he laughed, and so did my mother. I did not. In swift movements and rapid time, I found my world packed into 3 boxes and 1 suitcase, crated, nailed, and mailed to a house I'd never seen. In West Virginia, my grandmother stays at home, and she does not hold her shoulders erect, and her eyes don't gleam. Not at all. In West Virginia, I'm not ordinary. I am different. My eyes are not big and round like everyone else's, and my hair does not tumble in thick curls or make a golden halo around my head. My new classmates smile and talk, but it's a sharp noise. Their names sit like stones on my tongue. Steve, Tom. Here there are mountains, like in Korea, but the sky seems smaller and darker. I miss the lights of our city. The dark here is so black. At night I touch my eyes to make sure they are open. But when the pale moon is full and round, it looks like my face, and a little like the face of the woman who is now my teacher. My teacher is nice. She tries to help. She speaks slowly, as if I'm stupid, lips snapping over sounds my mouth will not make. I try to say I don't want to be here. She nods a lot and smiles, but she knows that I do not understand, and I know she does not understand. Jeri does not understand. Recess is over. She bites and kicks and even spits on her teacher. My grandmother cries and tries to tell the teacher she is sorry. Then my father talks to the school in his flawless English. It is decided that my grandmother will go to school with my sister to give her a bit of ordinary. She is having a hard time adjusting. But I have no help. I wish I were little enough or brave enough to bite and kick and spit. Days become weeks and weeks become months. I learn bathroom and please. I am surprised that I can form words that make their meaning clear, though they still feel like stones, heavy in my mouth. Pizza? They work, though. Play with me, like in Korea. Pass it back, like in Korea. Let's throw it again at the girls. Okay. Grandmother is learning too, along with Jeri. At dinner, she tells us about the other children in Jeri's class and about their young teacher, newly engaged, who helps my grandmother with English at nap time, and my grandmother, with halting words, gives her advice. One day, Steve says, "Heejun, come over." My first visit to a friend. In his yard, I discover a red-centered blossom. Mugugwa, I say. Rose of Sharon, Steve says. It's a mugugwa. In Korea, I say. It's a rose of Sharon here, Steve says. When I leave, Steve's mother gives me mugugwa blossoms and a tender shoot to take home. A piece of heaven, grandmother says. A piece of home. Here it's called Rose of Sharon. A piece of home. My grandmother plants the shoot, and at the end of the summer she takes one of the mugugwa blossoms and sews it onto the wedding dress of her teacher friend, like our family does in Korea. And I can say, "Steve, come over," light like a bubble on my tongue. And that is ordinary in our new home.
This week It has been 1 week since Easter. Jesus has risen, and his disciples have seen him, but all but one. Poor Thomas was not there when Jesus appeared, and so Thomas is feeling left out and lonely. He misses Jesus so dearly, his very special friend and his teacher. He too wants to feel that he is part of what is going on around him and not to feel so lonely at the loss of Jesus, until finally Jesus appears to him too, and he has that feeling of being at home once again with the one he cherishes most, Jesus. Which is a good reminder of our story that we've heard this morning of a young boy whose family moved a very far way, didn't they, Danny? They moved a long ways away from where they had been, from all the things that were familiar to them. And so he had to learn what it was like to live somewhere else, to make new friends, until he saw too something that reminded him of home. Right, Danny? He saw that special flower, which he learned in English was called the Rose of Sharon. Once he saw, he too believed that he could find happiness in his new home, just like Thomas did. Thanks for joining me this week on Storypath. May we too remember that Jesus is with us always too.
Subscribe on YouTube so that you don't miss the next story on Storypath.